Invocation given by Mr. Stewart and the pledge of allegiance by myself.
Let's pray. Father in heaven, we thank you for this day and the many blessings you've given us. We ask now that you'll watch over these proceedings and they'll be pleasing in your sight. We ask that you'll watch over the employees and citizens of Scottsboro as they go about their daily lives. Bring home the military safely to their families. Guard, guide, and direct us so in the end we may all come to thee. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First thing tonight is a public hearing on the proposed amendments to the zoning ordinance. So we'll begin. This is a public hearing. This is time and place for a public hearing. We'll discuss the zoning ordinance. Is there anyone here? Of course, Mr. Littles will be here to discuss it. Is there anyone here against this? This is a zoning ordinance. It's not the property or popular.
Oh, sorry.
That's fine. I understand. No one here. Mr. Little, will you just kind of go over this again?
I think you all have a, you hear me? I think you all have a packet in front of you. There's 21 items, excuse me, 22 items we have proposed to revise in the zoning ordinance. Two of them, item 8A, and then item 21 were not in the initial advertisement. Those are things that we came back in and added after the city clerk had advertised them. But these are all the ones that you guys seen from the previous council meeting and looked through and discussed. So if you got any questions on any of the other ones?
Anyone have any questions for Mr. Little? Hearing none, of course, we'll move this to a meeting to vote on next week, but that will exclude both the two that he talked about, because they were not advertised, so. Yes, we'll move to the June 7th meeting, because that's to be the 15 days. This will conclude our public hearing. Thank you, Mr. Little. Number 2, discuss Toller Construction Bay, application number 6 for the Heritage Center project. I was expecting Mr. Ordinance to be here, but I can go over this. This is a construction bill you'll see for $71,266.15. Of course, as of right now, what we have left in the Heritage Center projects is $6,795.03. So anything over that, the Heritage Center will be responsible for going forward. So if anyone have any questions about it? If not, we're going to move that to next week's meeting, and that will be to pay out the remaining balance of the Heritage Center project. Number 3 is discuss the fleet program. Mr. Level.
Each of you have a package in front of you. We put together the things that we had previously talked about, and some of you had asked about. We kind of went down department-wise, each department, and kind of said how you can move these things around and what you can do with them. But anyway, at the bottom of it, we showed a way that this funds this. We've got a guaranteed buyback from Russ Woods, which is J.M. Woods auction out of Montgomery. They have to have less than 30,000 miles on them, which I think the 2-year period, like we discussed. is about what it's gonna take. Guaranteed buyback, today is at 90% value. He said this past auction, they brought about 125%, when they sold, but the only thing they would guarantee is the 90%. But if you'll look down at the bottom and kind of just walk over it, we gave you a way to fund this program. It's on the second page, almost to the bottom. It just says proceeds from the sale. You put some of those that don't have departments to hand those down back into the fleet account once they're sold. This will fund that portion of the interest on the account. But it's really easy for me to understand, but now I don't know how it is, y'all just looking at it. I'll be glad to answer any questions or kind of tell you some history on some of it, whatever you want to know. The initial one is going to consist of 11 or 12 vehicles. But now you're touching 22 different places when you do that, because most of those department vehicles will just be dropped down. So you're putting very good, not old vehicles right back in your department.
So if we buy these vehicles off state bid, we're buying them cheaper than what most people can buy them for.
Yes,
So
sir.
what you're saying is after 2 years, we can turn around and sell them for more money than what we've got in?
You're guaranteed 90% value.
Not 90% of what we gave, but 90% of the value of the vehicle,
90% of what you gave.
of what you gave.
If we do a $30,000 truck, they're guaranteeing you $27,000 back at the end of this period. But I've got the email that I've shared, I think I sent it to y'all today. He said this has always been, you'll get more than you've paid, but they can't guarantee it in writing. He said that history proves, and of course the county just sold some of theirs and done very well with them. But it depends on what you get to. If you'll notice what we put in this package is what those contractors are actually looking for. They can come to this auction and buy these trucks cheaper than they can go buy them and be more than what we gave them. And they still save money. That's just the way it works. You know, you're over a 26, 27% deduct right off the bat. And by buying 10 or more, you even got a little bit less than state bid. But it's all in there. If you need a little bit to digest it, or if you got any questions now, I'll be glad to try to answer them. We did Fords, we did Chevrolets. Chevrolets are on the back, because the auction house said right now fleet Chevrolets there are just not many there. He feels like we'll do way better going with Chevrolets than Fords. Chevrolet is about as close as we can get. The state bid is in Fort Payne, where Ford is in North Opelika.
I know this is meetings that we've had a few times about, and of course, Mr. Congo can attest to upgrading the fleet is really helping get them caught up over there. But I think this is something we're gonna have to look on and study on for sure. I know 90% of, I was probably with Mike, thinking 90% of the value, not what we gave. And I can see why it's going for 125% of the value, because we get a great deal by buying them on state
That
bid.
is correct.
You're looking at a Tahoe here saying 46.9, you ain't gonna get a Tahoe under $70,000 right now. Not a four-wheel
Those
drive.
Tahoes for individuals, those are geared for, now those are loaded, those are LT loaded. And the MSRP on that one is almost $70,000.
Of course, funding this would be the biggest struggle to get started. And so we're going to move this to another work session. I just appreciate you introducing this and getting it started. And I'll put it on the next work session. I'll give people time to look over it, and then we'll come back back and say which workstation. Thank you.
Thank you.
We move to number 4, discuss the PA system for the events coordinator. Ms. Kirkland.
So I think Whitney gave you a print off of what I would like. And it's a portable PA system, and I'm currently have been borrowing this from the EDA for the past couple of months, and I really like it because it's really easy to use. And this comes with the 2 speakers, it comes with stands for the speakers, so you can elevate them or leave them on the ground. It comes with all of the cables that go to the speakers as well as to the microphone. It's Bluetooth compatible, so with cell phones, if we need to get music off of those. It also comes with an instrument hookup. It comes with pretty much everything we need. So this was the cheapest price I could find. It was on Amazon. Any questions?
I want to say just, I know this all started at the Scottsboro Boys mural dedication that I asked her, why she was borrowing a PA system. And so I asked her to reach out and kind of look at prices. It's been a couple months and the different projects, the first Monday and things like that are going on that I really believe she needs this, but of course I wanted to introduce and find a price, and so if anyone has any questions about that or about the price of it, hearing none, we'll move that next week's meeting. Number 5, discuss the ADM fees. Mr. Little, can you go over these fees?
We've got an opportunity up on Highway 72 to get some dirt. Stacy can use some dirt for covering the landfill, and also Wayne can use some dirt for some projects in the city. As part of that process, when you open a pit up, a bar pit up, ADM regulates that, and there's a $1,385 fee to open that pit up. So we need approval to go forward with that process and get some money to go do that. That's good to y'all.
Now this $1,385, I would say that we're getting more dirt than that price would cover.
How much dirt you think's in there, Stacy?
There's several, so way more than $1,300.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions about the dirt and neighboring fees? Hearing none, we'll move that to next week's meeting. Number 6, discuss a resolution from the planning commission to rezone property on Bob Jones Road. Mr. Little.
The May 4th Planning Commission meeting, there was an applicant that brought forth a request to rezone a piece of property located at 2983 Bob Jones Road. The property is currently zoned R2, which is a medium density residential district, and they proposed to change it to C3, which is a general commercial district. And this is a resolution making a recommendation from the Scottsboro Planning Commission to the City Council to rezone that, to make that a C3 district.
Anyone have any questions on the property he's talking about?
What basically is C3?
It's general commercial district. To give you an example of it, it's up and down Broad Street mostly when you get out of town.
Yeah.
Some of it is C2, neighborhood commercial district up in town, but once you get, say past Charlotte Street out, majority of that's C3 all the way down. Now there is some little pockets it's not, but it's basically, I mean, it's not wide open, but it's basically just anything retail, general retail stores, anything of that nature.
What's the property close to?
It's close to the, is it the Temperance, that's before my time, is the Temperance School building, is that right? Temperance Hill, right. Temperance Hill School, but it's right there at Hancock.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there at Hancock and Bob Jones, kind of at that intersection. I think it was a trucking company, has been in the past.
So it's that one right before you get to Wayne's, if you're heading that direction, where they gravel a lot there before you get to Wayne's house.
Yes, sir.
You said it was a trucking company. What did they do there?
I think it was a hub.
Just
Just
a maintenance hub, they
Maintenance
actually
hub.
worked on trucks and stuff
I think
there.
so, yeah. That's what we have permitted for.
And the way it's zoned now, it'd have to be rezoned for this, but actually a trucking company could open back up there tomorrow.
That's why we've been permitting it, because it's been, I think, an oval trucking company passed, and it was lands, and that's just the way we've been permitting it. It's a trucking company that's had that kind of grandfather clause.
So before we could ever do any rezoning, of course, we'd have to have a public hearing, and just like we did earlier today, and so the only thing we would do would be moving this to a meeting to vote on as far as whether to pursue the public hearing and move forward. So, does anyone have any questions for Mr. Little on this property? Hearing none, we'll move this to next week's meeting, whether to pursue further. Thank you. Number 7, discuss the four-way stop at the intersection of Andrew Street and Laurel Street. Since Mr. Dahl is not here tonight, this is something he sent me, and he had some, I don't know, Mr. T. Latimer, he give you some stuff to talk about on it?
No, but I'm familiar with the stats that he's.
Okay, well, if you'd like to step forward, and I probably put up the email on some of those stats, but.
Yeah, he spoke to me briefly about requesting a stop sign be placed at Andrews and Laurel. Since 2009, I went back and looked on, we've had 35 traffic accidents there. And what it is, we think, is because it's two-way, it's just a two-way stop. And the rest of them down through that section are all four-ways. So the people that are stopping think that it's a four-way, and then they fail to yield and they pull out in front of people. We've had 35 wrecks since 2009. We've had 4 in 2021. And about every one of them are injuries, result in injury because they're T-bone type wrecks. So his request is that we make that a four-way stop.
Of course, working right where I do, I've seen a lot of them, and it's usually the person at the stop sign just thinking the other side has a stop sign.
They just
and they just pull right out.
Right. They just assume it's a four-way, and they're pulling out.
People that use it every day know
Right.
the people that are new here buzz on through.
Right.
But the only other issue I have is coming off the square there, be very quick to another stop sign.
Yeah, but I think, in my experience, I don't think the traffic gets too backed up. Maybe on the first Monday weekend kind of thing, it might be, but during normal business, I think it'd be fine.
Okay. What I'd like to do is move this to the next work session and have Mr. Dopp here to go over it some too. All right, thank you. Number 8, discuss next site agreement. Mayor McCain?
Okay, we began receiving, or I say we began receiving, the CDA received an invoice from Nextsite a couple months ago for a success fee. And when we went back and looked, back in 2017, I think, there was an agreement with what was then R360, April 11, 17. It was in R360, and there was an agreement discussed. R360 is a marketing and research firm, and the agreement was for the CDA, the DRA, and the chamber to pay a retainer of $15,000 a year, and then the verbiage says that it proposed that the city pay success fees. Well, after we received this success fee request, we started looking, and there was never anything that was introduced before the council, and it was never signed by the city. And what is now Nextsite, going from R360, it's now Nextsite, is claiming success fees on successful, to this point, retail development for the city. It's a $15,000 success fee, but in looking at it, there has not been a contract with the city or that the mayor ever signed. And again, the council was never made aware of it. So A meeting, a phone call we had with Next Site last week. The discussion, following the discussion, Next Site produced a revised contract to run from May the 11th of 2021 through 2020. Now, the contract was originally for 4 years. It actually expired in April of 2020, but there was an 18-month grace period that was included in that contract proposal, which would put it to October 2021. So if there were any retail developments successful in Scottsboro, then they would claim a success fee through October of 2021. So that's where we are to this point, and we have a copy. I think each of you have a copy of the contract, the proposed contract. Section 2, time of performance, is where the change was made. And essentially what this will do, I think, and Mr. Kennemer helped me here, I think this will extend it through October. If there are any successes that he can claim between now and October, the city will be held responsible for those success fees.
That is correct.
Again, he's claiming $15,000 for the one success, and there could be additional between now and October. But we don't know what they will be.
All right, after speaking with this company and going through this, from what I understand, this was more of a handshake agreement, I guess you could say, and because it never got any further than that. As far as the city, as far as we can be concerned right now, there is no contract with them because there's nothing signed. But the other entities did sign a contract and did pay their part of it. So we are sitting in a dilemma here whether to move forward with this or just step back from it and say we weren't aware of it and there is no contract. So the easiest way to reach out to this was to spring it before each one at one time and move forward. Now, one way to fix this would be to sign a contract for the rest of the amount from the May until October and finish up the deal. Or two, step back from the whole thing and say no. So, brought it to a work session so everybody would have the same information and we can move forward from there.
Mr. President, if I could, one other thing that he had mentioned was to extend his contract for 5 years, and he would waive the $15,000 retainer fee that was being paid by the CDA and the chamber.
Yes.
So if we sign the contract from May 11th till October, we're still paying the $15,000.
The CDA has already paid that $15,000.
No, this is the $15,000 success fee.
Yeah, now the success fees, yes.
If we sign the contract.
If we sign this contract, yes, it's in the contract.
Or we walk away and not pay anything,
Exactly.
and probably have litigation on that.
That's a possibility, yes. So, this is where we stand on this. So, of course, it's a lot to process in one night. There's no way I would put this on a vote for next week. I want you to have time to study this and ask whatever questions you need. You can call me, the mayor, we're both on the same call. You can talk with the CDA, the chamber, and who else was involved in this?
That was it, CDA.
Okay, CDA and the chamber, they're, like I say, their part they had paid, but apparently there were no success fees until the end here. And so that's why it's coming up now. Anyone else have any questions on it?
So the success fee that they're claiming right now, is it on the future development?
It is. And if any other announcements that could potentially be made between now and October, he would claim those. And if there's a schedule in there based on square footage and type of development.
And how much each one?
And how much each one would be.
And basically, the new contract here that he sent us is the same as the old. It just, the dates have changed.
And there's a, I think there's a place for it to be signed this time as well.
Yes. And it doesn't say proposed that the city paid. It's asking more than money this time. So,
Also, the new contract has some strange language in one particular part that deals with the city of Siliconia, but I think it's just boilerplate that got put in there by mistake.
well, I said there was only two solutions. There's actually a third solution. He's offered an amount of money to end the contract too.
So with the future development that we've got going on, if another entity decides to build there, we'll owe a success fee again?
Exactly.
Well, no, not in that same location. This first fee is for the entire development.
Okay.
For the full 17.4 acres.
Okay.
But now that's not to say that, based on past history, that there won't be another request anyway.
Any other questions? We're gonna move this to the next work session, and give everyone time to go over this. All right, number 9, discuss the resolution for RDOT agreement for the H2 grant. Mr. Little.
We received an agreement last week from the Alabama Department of Transportation, and this is a resolution they're asking the city council to pass to enter into an agreement for the R360 funds that we received a notification of at the end of the last calendar year. So this is just a resolution saying that we're going to accept those funds and move forward with the project. And that project is, of course, the Highway Safety Improvement Project out on Highway 72.
Anyone have any questions for Mr. Little on this? This is just the requirement
It
from
is just
RDOT.
a basic requirement.
Here, none, we'll move that to next week's meeting. Number 10, discuss the budget amendment for the police training account. Chief Lowe.
I'm here tonight to request a $16,000 budget amendment for the police department's travel and training. To give you a little history, in June of 2020, APOS, which is the Alabama Peace Officer Standards and Training Commission, raised the price of the academy admission to $4,300. Previous to that, it was $2,300. And then after a recruit would attend the academy and successfully complete it, APOS would reimburse us $1,300. Well, they suspended that as well. So they nearly doubled the price. And since October of 2020, we've sent 6 newly hired officers to the academy at a cost of $22,800. Our total budget is $17,000 for travel and training, and that's to train 44 sworn certified officers. That 17 usually gets us through. But since this academy price increase plus the suspension of the reimbursements, it's totally wiped out our total travel and training for this year already. So that's why I'm requesting a $16,000 amendment. And of course, nearly 10 of that would cover the outstanding academy costs of the 2 officers that are currently in the academy right now. So, any questions on that?
In this academy, this is the only place we can send them.
This is a 14-week state required academy. It doesn't really matter. We've had to send 3 to Selma, which is the Trooper Academy. That's actually a little bit more expensive, not much more, but they're all the same price, and it doesn't matter, and it's all the same length. So there's really no way around. And APOS has not indicated when they may start the reimbursements back. I'm kind of thinking they're not going to for quite a while.
Is there a chance that?
A lot of
Get
this,
paid
they
back for all
blame,
of them?
well, I doubt they would go back and do it for the ones we've already sent through. It seems to me like when they do, if they ever do start the reimbursement, it's going to be from this point forward. They claim a lot of this was due to COVID and having to rearrange, used to they could put four, when I went, there were 4 of us in a room. Now they were having to put each individual trainee in a room, which I think that has since laxed up a little bit, but I don't see the cost of that coming back this way anytime soon.
Anyone have any questions on this? If not, we'll move that to next week's meeting.
Thank you.
Number 11. Discuss the ASA-BFA fishing tournament agreement for 2022. Ms. Kirkland.
So I got this contract from them on Friday, and this is the tournament that we had back in March already at Goose Pond, and they are requesting to come back here in April 2022. They've requested the date of April the 9th, which that is open at Goose Pond, I did check. And they're asking for $5,000. They're also asking for 6 hotel rooms, and this would be at the Hampton Inn here. So, the mayor and I have looked at this, we just wanted to.
And this is the high school tournament?
Yes, it's high school.
Anyone else have any questions on this? And this is for next year, so this would be going towards next year's budget. We would just be making a commitment
Yeah.
towards this. Of course, it would come out of the tourism money also.
And I think they were wanting her signature.
Yeah, he just sent it to me on Friday, telling us to go ahead and look it over, and I mean, I can send it back to him whenever, but the sooner we get it on the books at Goose Pond, the better.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Here, none, we'll go ahead and move that to next week's meeting. That will conclude the meeting. We'll move to delegations. Mr. Edmonds.
I really don't know how to start, but it's good to see you guys. I'm a deacon at West Baptist Church, and back in the election for the council and the mayor, there was a storm shelter put up there. It still hasn't been finished. We're actually mowing over the ruts, and there's a big pile of rocks still there. The sidewalk still hasn't been fixed. And people have been calling that lives on the west side of town where the storm shelter is. And we appreciate the storm shelter, it's needed, but we need to get it finished. In our agreement with the city, when they started putting it up, it was all the dirt was going to be filled in, the rocks moved, sidewalk built, handrails. But it was made in such a hurry that it's still sitting there. And I know the storm shelter down at Goose Pond was started at the same time, but yet it's finished. So a lot of people down there are in need of this, And I didn't know where to come to, so I laid it on y'all.
Well, we appreciate you coming.
The one down at Goose Pond, it was the same way till here a while back. It was during the election time when those things, right before that, when they got put up, we didn't really know they wasn't finished.
Yeah, that's true, but again, everything is still dry now, and, we got ruts we're going over and rocks, and the dirt that was there was actually hauled off. Now they got somebody to kind of haul the dirt back in to, for the building, for the grass and stuff on it, but,
I think everybody's in agreement that we'll get that together.
Do we know the schedule on that, Mayor?
No, I know the weather had a lot to do with that and getting into that specific area. They could not get a cement truck in there to pour the concrete and a couple of other things. That's been the holdup that particular one?
Well, excuse me, can I say?
Yes, sir.
It's been dry enough, and since the election, surely, within 6 months, there could have been a time that they could have got in there, Of course, I know you have to schedule it.
Well,
I agree.
I didn't know it wasn't finished. I hadn't been down there, so I know now.
Okay.
Mayor, who would be the person to contact to make sure this gets finished up?
Wayne and I have already been talking about it, Josh as well.
Okay, all right. So everyone knows now, we can move forward with that. Thank you, Mr. Evans. Mr. Hancock.
Yeah, I'm Hugh Hancock. I live at 2980 Bob Jones Avenue. And I'm here tonight to protest, I guess, the rezoning of the property across from my house.
I'm gonna give you your 5 minutes, but I want you to understand, tonight, we're just moving it to vote on to move forward. When we move forward, we'll actually have a public hearing and you can come and bring everybody down there who wants to go against it. But take your 5 minutes tonight.
Well, I'd just like to say that I would like to have the council just drop by there and look at it before you make the choice. And see if you lived where I live, if you want it. And that's all I got to say. Thank you.
But like I say, after next week, we'll actually vote whether or not to go further with it. And if we do, we'll actually have a public hearing and everything.
Okay.
And I'll make sure you know about it.
Thank you.
Thank you. No other delegations tonight, Mayor?
I don't have anything tonight other than ask everybody to keep the family of Joy York in your thoughts and prayers, please. He was a former city police officer and county deputy, and we'll remember him in a second.
Thank you. Ms. Dalton?
Don't have anything, just thank you for coming out.
Thank you. Mr. Ashton?
I don't have anything, thanks a lot.
I'm making this quick. Mr. Stewart?
I too have nothing tonight, but I appreciate y'all coming.
Thank you. I'm just gonna, do a little housekeeping here as far as meeting wise. Next week we'll have a normal meeting, May 24th. But for the month of June 7th, we'll actually double up and have a work session and meeting that night. And then won't have a meeting on the 14th. And then the 21st, a work session, and 28th meeting. That'd be the month of June. So, but next week we will have a meeting. So, with that, I have nothing else. Appreciate everyone coming out. We're adjourned.